Hi, this is Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass with a closing market wrap for Thursday, August 20th. Wow, what can I tell you? What a day. Let's take a look at it, starting with SPY 60-minute. This morning, we talked about this 335.60 level as being important with the 1 hour trend line coming up. We got a perfect tag of that, and then it was off to the races. So let's take a look at the 30-minute. It's a little clearer. So here we got the 30-minute chart. We talked this morning about this pre-market low down at 334.73. We came down and we tagged the top of that gap. Okay, gap support. It was probably a little much to ask for anybody to, buy it right at that moment. But remember what we always talked about. We were keying off at 335.62. When that got recaptured, that was a signal to go long. And like we've talked about many times, say, okay, you missed that perfect entry, on the top of the gap. That's fine. Okay, you missed this one. You missed 335.62. Right here at 337, you had a second objective chance to buy. And that was good for, you could have gotten out up here $1, $1.50, $2 higher. I think we tagged 339. But those were your three objective entries, the tag of the gap, the recapture of this 335.62, and then at 337. So you had, three chances to buy there. And really on these unidirectional moves, that's what you pray for. That's what you hope for, where there aren't any shakeout candles that could, scare you out of your position. Price never gave any inkling for you to worry or to be shaken out of your position. So that was an awesome trade. So let's move on to the Qs. We'll talk about tomorrow morning, see where we're at in the pre-market and all that. I don't want to get into, where we might go tomorrow, at this point. Tomorrow is option expiration. Anything can happen on that. Any day, anything can happen. But, with the turnaround coming out of this, it looks bullish. We'll have to see tomorrow, though. Qs. Everybody's worst fears. It's all rolling over. We had talked about this 274.64 as being an important level. Came down, kissed it for a microsecond, and then it was off to the races. Let's look at the 30-minute chart. Again, 274.64. We didn't come down to that pre-market low, but that tag was, a perfect place, a logical place to get long. And again, okay, you missed it. That was fast. You might not have caught that. But on the recapture of 276.50, that was your second chance to buy. And even there, 276 to 280, that's $4. Straight up, no shakeout candles. From that point on, it was an easy trade. All-time highs, good chance to get in, participate in that. And one thing we've talked about, and I'll just reiterate it again, when you're at the end of the week, towards the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and those weekly options, they get cheaper, the closer you are to expiration. you can risk the same amount of money that you would on a Monday, on a Wednesday or Thursday, and get a lot more for your money. That option that might cost you, $2 or $3 on a Monday will cost you, $1.50 on a Thursday. So you can either, buy the same amount of contracts for a much lower amount, or if you're comfortable, risking a certain amount of money, you can get, more options. Of course, you got to, they move fast. They're going to move faster on a Thursday than they do on a Monday because time is short. But if you're watching, every bar, you're not going to, there's not the likelihood that you're going to get hurt. You're watching every bar. If it goes against you, you can get out right away. But in the case today, with a unidirectional move, it's, a gravy train. You can't plan for it. You can't expect it. But when it happens, you participate, and you're more than thrilled with how the day turned out. The market gods are on your side, and these are the days that make up for the days where you get chopped to pieces and nothing really works right. And these are the days that you can savor. If you knew your levels and you were ready and you bought at the right places, you did really, really well. And I hope that guidance this morning was helpful. Moving on to IWM, I had said that, I would be fading this 156.50. It turned out to be right. That's fine. There wasn't any money to be made there. It didn't, fall apart. But at the same time, you weren't looking to buy, in here. This is the index that I have the least amount of faith in as far as the bullish side goes. And it played out. Like I said, there wasn't any money to be made there. You didn't know that when you did it. If you shorted that 156.50, you might have made what is it, 50 cents or something like that. You were probably ahead, but probably not what you were looking for. They don't always work out, but in this case, it didn't. So hopefully you were in SPY or in QQQ or in the FAANG names. So let's look at that. Oops. Sorry. Here we go. All right, Facebook. We talked about this morning, 261 pre-market low. If you didn't buy that, it was going to be tough to make, a good amount of money on it. We did come up here and break this 266.60 level, which was an objective place to buy. If you hung in there for these couple candles, you could have made $2.50, $3. That was a little bit tougher trade, but it still was a winner if you bought at 266.60. So now tomorrow, that's your pivot. You can stay long against it tomorrow morning and look for a push higher into the Friday close. And if it drops below, then I don't know if you need to short it, but I wouldn't be long. That's for sure, below 266.60. So we'll look at that tomorrow and see how things are shaping up. But in the future, that's something to put in your little trade book. If the pre-market low holds, you go down and tag it and it holds. it's a good objective place to try along against the pre-market low. So next time that happens, and it happened a couple times today on these FAANG names, and it worked out really well in really every case. So let's take a look at Apple. Held the pre-market low. Okay, you didn't buy it. We have been saying all along, buy 465. Buy 465. We bought it yesterday. It rolled over. Bought it today, and it didn't. And you got to move, up towards really 475. I don't know where we closed. Let me look. 472.85. So, I mean, doesn't look like a lot right here, but it's like, $7 or $8. I mean, that's big money on a weekly option that expires tomorrow. So I hope you bought that 465. That was an easy trade, and one that we have been focusing on for several days here. So I hope you caught that. That was a real nice one. Amazon. Again, we had talked this morning about that pre-market low at 32.50. When that held, perfect place to buy. Good for, let's see, 32.50 is 33.10 or something like that. So you got, $45, $50 out of that trade. And I mean, that's a good trade. So if you didn't buy it here, it would have been tough to buy it up higher, because you didn't have an objective level to shoot at. So, that was the spot today for Amazon when it tested that, the top of the box and it held. That was your entry point for short-term traders. Microsoft was another, I'm not going to say easy trade because they're never easy when you're in it, but certainly objective. We had talked this morning, 209 pre-market low, tagged it and held. Okay, you missed that one. You didn't buy it. Fine. We talked about recapturing 211. That should have been your trigger to buy that. Got to move all the way to the top of the box. For a $4 gain in the afternoon. In the trading room, I was telling people 215, pull the ripcord. That's resistance. That was the top of the box. No need to press your luck in the last 30 minutes of the day for an extra 50 cents or even $1 after your $4 to the good. You take your profits and you don't risk that end of day rug pull that's common. So that was a very objective trade. I hope you caught that one if you're an active trader. That was a good money maker. Google was a lot like Amazon. We had set it set up the same way with a pre-market test of the top of the box here at 1538, 1540. We got a quick tag of that. If you're on top of it and bought anything close to 1540, even 1545. Look, $30, $35. Another nice winning trade. You had to be fast though on these because there wasn't objective places to really add along the way. You could have possibly added right here on the recapture of this candle, but that's a little more dicey. Bonds. We had the plunge yesterday and then we recaptured this 165. I like bonds long here against that 165 level. It's not the easiest thing in the world to trade. I think you got to be more of a position trader, not like a day trader on this kind of thing. But I think this was a spike low. I think if you're long against 165, I still think there's a good chance for a bounce in here to 167.50. And just to let you know, it's not all roses over here. Gold went against me today. I mean, it's not a catastrophe, but I was, hoping and positioned for a breakdown. Didn't happen. We'll see. Like I said this morning, anything above 184, it was a failed idea, at least short term. But if you notice here, look at this little head and shoulders forming. You got a left shoulder here. You got the head. And now you may have a right shoulder here forming against 184 and then down. So that might be fantasy on my part, but it's got the potential for that. I mean, it's 3/4 of the way done. And then, of course, if this 181.50 were to break after that head and shoulders, then we're looking at the major breakdown. So anyways, we'll wait to see how that plays out. So if gold went against me, the miners went against me right here, I'll have to pull the ripcord with a loss much above today's high, and just have to reset on that. So that's a failed trade so far. Silver again was up a little bit. We still have this nice trend line. No trigger, no trade. Wasn't in that one. But any break of this 25 now would be a sell signal. And the silver miners were, of course, up with silver. Still on a sell signal, but, going against anybody that's short right now. Okay. That's a quick review of today's trades. I really hope that this morning's prep was helpful. I think one of the big takeaways is, number one, yesterday's catastrophe thinking of double tops and bearish divergences and it's all over and all that stuff didn't play out at all. If we were focused on price, we weren't, terrified because none of the key levels broke. They all held. So for longer term traders, still looks okay. Every day and every week is a new week, so we'll take it from there. But for now, everything is still bullish until evidence proves otherwise. If you're an active trader and you didn't capture any of those nice opportunities today, take some time, review, what you were thinking and what you were doing when those triggers happened, and see if you can learn from that oversight and help you in better trading in the future. And that's what journaling is so good for. I try to keep some good notes during the day of what's happening, and most of all what I'm thinking. If I miss an entry, I'll write it down and write down what I was thinking at the time and why I didn't take that trade. And oftentimes I'll learn from that after the fact, and it can help improve upon those active trading sequences if you're an active trader or trying to be an active trader. For me, it all keys off of levels. When levels are recaptured from below, it's a buy. If levels fail, it's a sell, especially at the real key levels that I work really hard to identify for you. So if I identify the right levels, all you have to do is execute. Okay? Focus on the execution. I have a lot of confidence in my levels. Of course, nobody's perfect, but you don't have to be perfect. You just have to take the trade, set your stop, and respect your stop. And if you always respect your stop, you can't be materially hurt. We get hurt when we ignore our stops to prove that we're right. And once we start trying to prove we're right, then it's over. I mean, we're going to be losers. So I hope that helps you in your active trading sequences. If you ever get stuck, reach out to me. More than happy to lend a hand however I can to help you move the ball downfield. Okay, this has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And do me a favor, pass it along to your trading buddies that might be helped by the content also. I'd really appreciate that. If it's your first time here, check out the show notes. There's links where you can subscribe to my content, and I will send you all this stuff every day and during the day of things I'm seeing in the market. Again, this has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Appreciate your time, and talk to you soon.